Greetings and beyond the new, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeremy Wormy and I'm back with yet another video. And over the weekend, we ended up having the Summer's Game Fest, in which several upcoming titles were first put out on display. Now, one of these titles did in fact capture the eye of the audience, and well, it wasn't because of its great graphics. It's because it stars a bunch of black people pulling off heists to re-steal artifacts back. And I say re-steal here because that is how the game is portraying this. This is actually tackling a very controversial issue in which artifacts throughout time and memoriam have been stolen from their places of origin, then put on displays within museums throughout the entire world. This is not just an issue that solely impacts Africa. In fact, that this is an issue that has impacted the entire world for millennia at this point in time. And in fact, you can even take a look over at an Abrahamic religious artifact known as the Spear of Longinus that nobody actually knows where it truly is at this point in time, considering various museums claim to have it within their possession.
Well, that sucks.
But when we get back to the game itself, it is tagged as an Afro-futuristic parkour heist game that is built around the notion of breaking and entering into different private collections in order to steal artifacts. And your main cast of characters, well, it is what you would expect, considering our lead character right now, as we can blatantly tell, is a strong independent woman of color with a whole crew of other strong independent people of color, one of which being, well, extremely strong independent woman that openly says that she can bench press everybody.
I could probably bench press every one of you.
And another black individual that's really good at breaking and entering.
The locksmith strikes again.
And even when you look at the core gameplay of this game, it's not really interesting, considering it's a bunch of puzzles, it's parkour, it's side-scroller, it's run the heck out of there and don't trip sensors the entire time as you steal these different artifacts, and also your different cast of characters can show off their abilities to help you get through this entire mission. But on top of that, we also got some of the overall dialogue from the game, and it ain't really that impressive.
We need a ride.
Something incognito.
Like a submarine.
No, but also fast.
Like a jet/submarine.
Furthermore, this game is actually being made by South African developers Nyamakop, which this is their second game they've ever actually made, and they're so proud and justified about it that when you go over to their actual website and just take a little look at the games that they've developed so far, all they ever show is their previous game semblance.
Wait a minute. The fuck? Why would you do that?
Heck, you can even take a look over at their unannounced video games and, well, there's nothing there. So I really can't dig too deep into what this game is about and who all these characters are and some of their actual stories at hand right now. But what I can dig into is what the developers have said themselves, considering they did a small interview talking more about the game during the Days of Dev event with Summer Game Fest. And we are introduced to just two of the different developers, Makot and Seath, who I'm probably butchering their names, but I don't really give a darn, where they both basically just say the exact same thing here, except Seath has to go a little step further and chooses to virtue signal about the various artifacts within the game itself.
While the locations in the game are vague and invented, the 70 artifacts in Relooted are very much real, and, as of today, reside in Western museums and private collections. Take, for example, the Ngaji drum, a hugely important spiritual item to the Pokomo people of Kenya. It was believed destroyed in 1910. In reality, it had been sent and kept in storage in a European museum. In 2016, a museum let a Pokomo prince visit the drum in storage. He was the first Kenyan in over 100 years to see the drum. It still remains in storage today.
Now, I get why she's talking about this, don't get me wrong. It is a vast and controversial issue with various people on either side of said issue. But you have to realize that she's only actually saying this to one virtue signal about the actual topic, and at the same time try to paint the whole situation as a negative. And honestly, it's not really working, especially when you go over to the like to dislike ratio of the video right now. It's only sitting at a 228 upvotes to 668 downvotes. So audiences really aren't excited about this one. Heck, even when we go back over and look at the gameplay again, it looks stale, it's not very inventive, and it's just another side-scroller video game. Even when it comes to the overall topic, you could have something interesting here. I'm not gonna lie there. We could be dealing with different African cultures, different African folklore. We could actually be tackling this stuff and explaining it to the vast audience, but you're wrapping it up in this hyper-progressive ideology as it stands right now. Even just, again, take a look at the overall cast, you can already figure out who's who just by looking at this. That's not a giant man back there, that's a huge-ass woman.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
But when it comes to this game, all I'm seeing is the Tales of Kinzara Part 2. And when it came to Tales of Kinzara, that was a game tackling African folklore and mythology, but was made by an indie developer, put out as a side-scrolling platformer, and sprinkled on top with an over-exorbitant budget and Sweet Baby Inc. mixed in to make it all better. And I'm just getting the same vibes all over again when it comes to Relooted. It's pretty easy right now to figure out that this is just going to be another flop of a video game. Audiences are going to be rejecting it because it's so easy to see through what's going on here. You can see the pandering, you can see the virtue signaling, and you can see that it's not really inventive anymore, and it's just more of the same stuff we've been getting. But hey, that's just my take on all this. But let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out, friends, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.